Hello, my name is Megan Carlson. I am a deputy here at the Diocese of North Carolina, and I attend St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Durham. I was assigned the role of Assistant Secretary for the House of Deputies Resolution Review Committee. The Resolution Review Committee is unique to the House of Deputies and helps review all resolutions for Constitution, canons, and polity issues as they come up. The Episcopal Church has a formal constitution, has formal canons on how that constitution is to be implemented, and has sort of our own way of discussing our constitutions and canons as sort of what polity is. And we want to make sure that for all resolutions, when they are submitted, that they do not create a conflict. So that is that they are not sort of illegal in the Episcopal Church. So changes to constitution and canons are always allowed, but there are specific ways you're supposed to do it. And the constitution and canon still has the right and the privilege to review said resolutions. But we now sort of take a deeper dive into all the resolutions, which is in some ways fantastic, but there are also 345 base number of resolutions this year, and that's a lot. But again, we're really focused on, okay, is this, we don't care, we're not pro or for or against and no for resolutions. We are simply, is this consistent with what the current constitutions, canons, rules of order, and the polity of the Episcopal Church? So an example of that is a very specific resolution is that Navajo land, the area mission of Navajo land, or the Episcopal Church in Navajo land, has wanted for many, many years and kind of been promised for many, many years the ability to assist in picking their own bishop. However, the constitutions and canons of the Episcopal Church specifically outline that area missions, which Navajo land currently is, has their bishop assigned by the House of Bishops. It is not the Navajo land, and unlike missional dioceses or regular dioceses that can hold conventions and sort of provide a call for their bishop. So there is a resolution on the floor this year to try and make some changes, to try and figure out exactly what needs to happen so that the diocese, the Episcopal Diocese in Navajo land can have more ownership, more tangible impact on picking their bishop. So it'll be exciting to see. It was exciting to help work with that committee to make that resolution correct within the canons and the Constitution, so that it could come before the body for voting and moving forward. Now, there are lots of issues like that resolutions come from all over the place. The start, the writing, the drafting of a resolution does not necessarily come from all of these beautiful deputies, wonderful deputies from across the Episcopal Church. They come from people that are concerned or have a passion for getting for having the Episcopal Church reflect our views and our values of a church as a church. And so it takes a little while. Once they find a way, they've got someone, an endorser who is a deputy or who is a bishop or a diocese that they've passed at their diocesan convention or at other sort of Episcopal level task force and committees to bring forth the resolution. It does take some wordsmithing so that it can be in the legalese sort of vernacular of the Episcopal Church. Once we get to convention, the House of Deputies Resolution Review Committee would generally have a lot to do the first few days, with resolutions generally being the last day for submittal as the first day of convention. With COVID, the last day of resolution was in June, so there are no new resolutions being submitted or proposed from the floor of the House of Bishops or the House of Deputies, or going to be just sort of dropped off in the Episcopal equivalent of the hopper. I don't know what that is. Which means that our committee gets a little bit more of a break this convention than generally. If an amendment is made, those will be the only time during convention that House of Deputies will step in. And again, we'll just sort of do a cursory review. Does this keep it in line with our current constitutions and canons? And can it actually be done as it is written? So that is it for resolution review. There are a lot of resolutions. There are very controversial resolutions. There are resolutions that should be non-controversial, but they just needed a little bit of help to make sure that they were drafted with the correct language. And then there are the resolutions that are just important to everybody. So I hope you are following along with what passes and where the Episcopal Church is going to head next in the next 2 years. Thank you.